Hello, my name is Reinout. In this video, I will walk you through setting up the Fidelix FDX Compact DI16C digital input module. We will learn how to install the hardware, how to interpret the LED color signals, how to connect and how to configure the inputs, how to parameterize the different types of inputs, and how to communicate using a third-party Modbus client. And we'll go over some tips and tricks based on our field experience. The DI16C module can be used to detect opened or closed circuits for indication or alarm purposes, or pulses to be used as counter indications. Both dry and wet contacts can be measured, provided that the wet contacts don't put more than 24 volts on the cable. The Modbus address is set using the dip switches at the side of the module. The module is powered and communicates through the T-bus connector, which is clicked onto the DIN rail. 24 volts DC and the Modbus RTU over RS485 communication A and B are passed through here, and the module itself simply clicks onto the T-bus connector. Once powered, the LEDs will indicate the startup sequence of the firmware of the module. Connecting digital inputs is pretty straightforward. Inputs are connected as loops starting from the connectors marked with S through the device we want to know the current status of to the numbered connectors. Each loop is individually galvanically isolated. Using a multi-wired wire, use a screwdriver to push the colored button to open the spring connector. The connectors marked with S provide 24 volts DC. If the voltage is detected at the numbered connector and the resistance between the two connectors is lower than 50 kilo ohms, the loop is considered closed. To connect tacho pulse counters and NPN pulse counters, connect the ground level of the device to the ground of the module's power supply. Then connect the signal wire to one of the connectors, looping the signal through the secondary connector with a jump wire. With FX Editor, each of the 16 inputs can be individually configured as normally open or normally closed. This is done in the point programming of either an indication or an alarm point. And this brings us nicely into our third point, how to parameterize different types of inputs. When an input is used for detecting an alarm, the LED is also used to visualize the status of the connected alarm point like this. Blinking red for an alarm that is active and has not yet been acknowledged. Blinking green for an alarm that has been active but currently no longer is. So the alarm is off but unacknowledged. Now let's switch that alarm back on. When an active alarm gets acknowledged, we get steady red. So this is both active and acknowledged. And steady green for an alarm that is not active at all. The alarm is off and acknowledged. When using the DI16C module as impulse counter, the module can detect pulses from 5 to 1275 milliseconds. Using an FX controller, simply select Counter in the Analog In section of the point programming window of an analog input point in FX Editor. You can set the minimum pulse width and a scaling factor to convert each pulse into actual units. So here, one pulse is 100 liter, for instance. This is also how we parameterize a tacho pulse counter using scaling factor 1. Using another Modbus client than our FX controller, a closed loop will set the corresponding bit in Modbus register 0 of the module to 0. An open loop keeps the bit at 1. Modbus registers 1 through to 5 will determine how each channel's LED behaves. The number of pulses can be read for each input from registers 14 through to 29, and the minimum pulse width can be set individually to registers 6 through to 13. You can find the detailed Modbus register description in the download section of the Fidelix Support Central. If your pulse counter does not return the expected results, check the device's pulse output type. A mechanical output should be connected between the numbered input and the corresponding input marked with S. An NPN or tacho pulse output should be connected to either of those inputs, and a jumper wire should be connected between them. You now know how to install configure and parameterize the Fidelix FDX Compact DI16C digital input module, and you can start connecting all your devices. Please check out our other videos and Academy lessons to learn how to use our other I/O modules. If you need more information or if you have other questions, you can find out everything about all Fidelix products and services at support.fidelix.com.